nobody is above the law. Well, except for high-ranking government officials in most countries, super rich people, rich pedophiles. Let's see, who else is above the law? Democrats, people on the left. Who else? Basically all Congress people and senators. Yeah, and now we've got a new addition. If you work for the Israeli government, then you too are above the law, because a guy named Tom Alexandrovich, who is like the head of the cybersecurity division in the Israeli government, got caught up in a sting operation in which he thought he was talking to a 15-year-old girl and showed up to meet her with a pocket full of rubbers and some other stuff. Was going to take her to Cirque du Soleil. Isn't that nice? And he was one of many people who got caught up in the sting operation in Las Vegas. And everybody was arrested. He was also arrested. And he was taken in for some questioning. Questioning lasted about a half an hour. The cops were made aware that he is an Israeli citizen, so they knew he had a passport, right? And he bragged about having a meeting next week with the NSA. This guy is a cyber security division expert. He's probably an expert hacker. And he's dumb enough to get wrapped up in a sting that fucking involves him meeting a 15-year-old girl for sex in the United States. Weird. Now, I'm starting to think, I don't think he's that dumb, right? I don't think he's dumb. I think he just thought, well, I'm Israeli. I have an Israeli passport. I'm high up in the government. And if I get caught, diplomatic immunity or some shit, and I'll be able to go home. So it's worth the risk for him. It's got to be something like that. You don't become an expert hacker, which I'm assuming he is if you work for Israeli cybersecurity. I guess you know a little something about hacking. You don't get into that world and get the degrees you need and the studies you need to be able to do that kind of job and then be considered stupid. He knew damn well that there was a possibility that this might be some sting operation. I think he just didn't give a fuck, right? Because he's like, yo, they're not gonna be able to do anything to me anyway. Which would be an odd bet to take for anybody trying to get wrapped up in some shit like this. But he bet the right way, because he still has not been charged and he's back in Israel already. So here's what happened. This dude came from another country to a conference in Vegas. While he was there, he tried to get some pussy from a 15-year-old that he thought was a 15-year-old. And it's not that he was talking to an actual 15-year-old and she pressed charges against him, or her parents did. No. He was talking to a cop that he thought was a 15-year-old. And then he went to meet that 15-year-old, and it turned out to be the police that were waiting for him. No charges. Everybody else in this operation got charged. It's amazing. How can he get no charges? And not only that, they didn't take his passport. Right? They didn't take his passport. They just said, okay, well, come back at the end of August for a hearing, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. So at first I thought he bailed himself out, but it seems like, it's not 100% clear, but it seems like he didn't even have to bail himself out. He just got let go. Now, you tell me how the fuck that's possible, right? How the fuck is that possible? You know how that's possible? What somebody from also high up in the Israeli government calls down because they had to notify the Israeli embassy and shit, right? The consulate, something, right? Somebody there called America and said, yo, you got to let this motherfucker go. You know what I'm saying? We don't care if he almost tried to rape one of your kids. We don't care. You're going to have to let him go. And America said, yes, sir. May I have another? We'll do so, sir. And off on a plane dude goes. It's unbelievable. I'm so tired of hearing this bullshit about, oh, no one's above the law. Accountability. The fuck all that, dude. There's no accountability coming for any shit. Okay? That's my standpoint, and I'm sticking to it. I'll be amazed if I see any accountability for any of the shit that I've been talking about, that we all know there needs to be accountability for. We know all the things. Russiagate, COVID, the fucking coup on the president, January 6th, the Twitter files, the censorship. I mean, I could go on all day about the things that we need to start seeing some accountability for if we want to have any fucking faith or belief in these justice systems that are pushed upon us by people that, you know, that don't have the wherewithal to run a fucking diner, much less a country. Okay? I'm tired of hearing it. Fuck you. It's bullshit. And this is just more proof of it, right? So if you are an Israeli official, you can come to America while America is funding your fucking genocide in Gaza, right? I tried to stay away from calling it a genocide, but that's pretty much what it is. It's at least ethnic cleansing, okay? Let's stick to that. So we have to foot the bill for Israel's cleansing of Gaza. Makes it sound so much better, right? We have to fund the bill for Ukraine. We have to fund the bill for the weapons going to Israel to do this genocide with, right? And also we have to accept, or at least Americans have to accept. I don't know. Probably the Europeans probably would do the same. The Americans have to accept. The American people have to now accept that if it is an Israeli government official that works for cybersecurity of all places, right, comes to your country, tries to molest one of your kids, that he just gets to go free, right? Because I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what the cops are thinking. Are they thinking dude is going to come back? You know what I mean? At the end of August to face charges? I mean, let's be real. Would you? Do you know how long the prison sentence that might be? Oh, that's not going to be short. It's not going to be a slap on the wrist. I mean, they've got the chats. They've got him sending a picture to the so-called girl of his face. They've got him showing up there to meet her, right? They talk to him. They know it's him. It's like an open and shut case. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? And they just let the guy walk, knowing that the first thing he's going to do is hop on a fucking plane and go to Israel. Let me tell you all a story here, right? When I was 19, I grew up in America. I wasn't born there. I grew up there, right? When I was 19, I got arrested for selling weed, right? Big deal. It was a big fucking deal. Before weed was legal anywhere, big deal. They didn't realize I had a Dutch passport because I sound American, I look American. They had no idea. They didn't think I was a foreigner. Then my lawyer figured it out, you know what I'm saying? And asked me, like, is that true? Are you Dutch? And I was like, yeah. What difference does it make? I've been in jail for like 9 months now, waiting for court and shit. He's like, yeah, but they're going to deport you. I was like, well, what the fuck? Why? I don't want to get deported. I've lived here my whole life. I want to stay here. And he said, dude, if you don't want to get deported, you're going to have to do your sentence. You're going to have to do your time first, which was looking like it was going to be like 4 years, right? You're going to have to do your time first and then appeal the fucking the deportation. And I was like, well, if that in that case, then fuck it, right? So I would have had to do my whole sentence and then still tried to fight deportation, which I may have lost. Or I could say, well, fuck the sentence, I'll just get deported and go with it, and that's it. Which I did, because I sold weed, but I got deported to Amsterdam, which was a pretty good deal, actually, if you look at it like that. So, how the fuck is it, you know what I mean, that this dude, right, gets to fucking do something like this, a crime much more egregious than my shit. They know he has a passport, right? They know that the first thing dude's gonna do is hop on a fucking plane and go home. I mean, he caught the flight he booked to go home with. He was in Vegas for a conference, a hacker conference, Black Hat, right? He was there for a conference. And he just said, all right, well, thanks for talking to me, and peace out. They didn't take his passport. It's unreal. Unreal. So there you go. There you go. Now, we'll see if dude comes back, right? I think the Attorney General, I think it was Pam Bondi, said they need to return this guy immediately. You think so? You think that the Israeli government is going to go through the fucking motions to make sure this dude can get out of jail and get on a plane and then return him to Israel or return him to America to face charges? I don't see that happening. I'd be amazed if it did, and I would come out and make the first video saying, oh, I fucked up, that he came back, you know what I'm saying, or he was sent back. Dude is not going to come back on his own, right? Forget that shit, okay? He'll probably, because he's an Israeli official, he'll probably even be still allowed to continue to travel in and out of the United States. Because that's what it looks like is happening all over the place. Regular people like you and me have to face justice, the hammer of the law. We miss our fucking tax due date. It's fucking kicking indoors time. It's all the things that we have to adhere to and listen to and, you know, watch out for it and make sure we know about, and all the things. All those things just don't apply to a whole bunch of other people. And I, for one, am getting sick and fucking tired of it. Because I'm paying taxes to a government that is supposed to also protect my interests, and they just don't. They don't give a fuck. This two-tier justice system that is everywhere. It's not just in America. Look at England. Look at Germany. It's where I live. It's all the same shit. All of these Western countries that do this big moral dance about how morally righteous they are and how everybody is treated equally here and not in Russia and not in Saudi Arabia and whatever the fuck their shit. It's all bullshit. Bullshit. It's just like what I always say about they're yapping about freedom. Oh, well, we're free. Well, we're not free. We're not free. We're a little bit more free than some of the worst places on earth. That's it. That's not free. That's freer than other people. That's not the same thing. Right? It's unreal that this kind of shit just keeps happening. Right? So, look, another day has now gone by with no accountability for any of the shit that we've been talking about. And now, a new slap in the face to especially American people living there, paying taxes and footing the bill for Israel's genocide of the Gazan people, right? Y'all are footing the bill for that, whether you like it or not. And you're going to continue to, it looks like. Now you also have to sit there and accept that, hey, look, just like with Epstein, I mean, we don't know if he's really connected to Israel or not, but there's a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that he might be, right? Basically, what it's coming down to here is, if you are Israeli, work for an Israeli government, at least you are protected from the law basically anywhere, right? Basically anywhere. You're good. You're good. In Western countries anyway. You know what I mean? I'm sure that if this dude went to, Qatar and tried to rape one of their kids, they would have no problem stringing that motherfucker up, right? But of course, we Westerners, we're so morally correct. We have to just, it's Israel. We do have to allow the guy to go home. I mean, he hasn't been charged with anything. Yeah, he hasn't been charged with anything because they don't want to charge him with anything. Because the other people involved in the sting operation were charged, right? They were charged. This dude was able to leave. He was able to leave the country, right? Now, my bail was pretty high. It was too high for me to pay at the time when I got arrested. But let me tell you, if I would have tried to get bail, right, on my own, right, and they would have known I had a Dutch passport, they would have like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Flight risk. Or they would have at least taken the passport, right? They didn't take this dude's passport. So what happened? Well, we don't know, but can we guess? We can guess a little bit. I think what happened is dude got arrested. Yeah. Flashed the flashy Israeli government badge and said, oh, I've got meetings with the NSA and I'm this dude and that dude. I work for cybersecurity and I've got to contest the Israeli embassy now. And they did. And somebody within the Israeli government called somebody within the American government and said, look, let this motherfucker go home. And that's it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'm sorry, Israel. You know what I mean? Israel's never really been on my radar until this whole Gaza shit started. You know what I'm saying? Well, since October 7th then. But ever since then, Israel's been doing so many things that just make it look sketchy that I can't help but go, I don't know, man. I don't know why people are so blind about this fucking blindly following Israel around. Blindly being loyal to Israel. They seem to be a pretty sketchy outfit, right? And yeah, I get it. Oh, the Holocaust, the Jews. I'm not talking about Jews, right? And people can fucking try to conflate this shit all they want and call me an anti-Semite. Look, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I don't care what you think. You know what I'm saying? That's basically it. I don't give a fuck. That's why I say whatever I want, because I don't give a fuck what you think. Because that's what I think, right? And you can either think what I think or not think what I think. But if you're going to start calling me names that have nothing to do with what I'm saying, then really I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? What rolls off my back? Don't care. Right. So, I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about the Israeli state and their government, right? have done some pretty sketchy shit and are continuing to do so, and it's causing not only my sentiment, but sentiment around the world to be anti-Israel. If they don't want that to happen, maybe they should stop doing all that sketchy shit, and maybe Western countries should stop supporting them doing it. How's that? How about America demands of Israel that they send this potential pedophile back to America to have him face justice? How about that? That would help Israel's cause a little bit. Then people might go, wow, okay, so Israel really at least doesn't want to protect pedophiles. That's something. That's a notch on their belt, right? That's something. But no, I don't think that's what we're going to see, because otherwise they wouldn't have let this guy go to begin with. So there you go. Another day of justice in America, guys. Very good. That was the Insanity Report for Wednesday, the 20th of August, 2025. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe we'll wake up and finally hear some news about Adam Schiff or, James Clapper or John Brennan or any of these people that are so-called being investigated and all the la-la-la. Maybe we'll finally tomorrow wake up and see one of them in handcuffs on the front page of a paper. Don't hold your breath, though. All right, guys. That's it. See you guys tomorrow.